Hi, makers. This is Anne Marie. It is Sunday, so it's time to do a little vlog. And the next portion or the next installment in my story or in my vlog is when. I had a lot of people ask me how I finish all the projects that I get into. Frankly, sometimes I'm not exactly sure how it all happens, but it does happen, and it all starts with a plan or an idea. Before, I used to just haphazardly, see a few patterns, have some things I was excited about sewing, and I would cut them out, put them in bags, forget about them, find something else, sew something else, remember about the other thing, go back and pull that out. And so I was kind of lying my way. And then about a year or so ago, I started watching people publish their plans. And my plans that used to be in like on paper in a book, I started thinking to use the YouTube platform as kind of an assistant in my life to get things done. Um, I'm very visually stimulated, so that's why I like to see all the things I have. I need to have things in clear containers and stuff like that so I can figure out what I have. And that's how I ran my classroom. No kid would have to wonder where the scissors were because they were in a clear bucket marked scissors. So, that aside, when I'm an early riser, I wake up around 6:30, sometimes 5:45. It depends. I go to bed early. I wake up early. It's nice and quiet, so I can get in about a couple hours of sewing or cutting before my first call of the morning. I have a friend, Linda, who I call every morning at 6:45, and we do a prayer together, and then we talk about our families and sewing. But we both have households to run, so she leaves off the phone at 8 o'clock my time. Yeah, and then that's Eastern first, 9 o'clock, and then I get another whole hour where I can sew, cut things out, call someone else, commiserate, all that kind of stuff. So that's my main sewing block of time. I'm fresh, it's early, everything in my sewing room is dedicated to sewing. It's designed by me to work with my brain. I know where everything is, so it's very efficient. So I think that's how come I get a lot of stuff done. But what's great about it is my alarm on my iPhone will go off at 9 o'clock and says, "That's it, 9 o'clock. Time for you to get ready for the day. For you to do your yoga if you didn't do it before you came in the room. Shower, brush, comb all this hair." All that kind of stuff. So I'll kind of try and get all that stuff done. And by 10 o'clock, I have to be downstairs and see about breakfast, see about whatever needs to be done in the household, if it's shopping, if it's banking, if it's paying bills, if it's sweeping the yard, if it's gardening, all the kind of things that go along with the house and my father's care go on between that time period. So I really kind of have a schedule. So by about noon, I've done a lot of those things. Either I've come off the street from shopping or I've done a lot of the things that the household needs to get done. Now in the afternoon is when I write. I do all my writing because I do write children's books. I do write other kinds of things, so I like to write. It's the time it's really quiet in the house. My dad by this time has done his walk and we've talked and all kinds of things, and he's going to take a nap. And so by the time I finish with that, by 2 o'clock, I really tend to say it's going to be my nap time. It's really hard for me to nap sometimes. But the point is to be quiet between 2 and 3 o'clock and rest, because I think a lot of us don't realize how much rest we actually need. We've been running for so long with kids and jobs and husbands and life and everything, and we don't really realize how much. Once you start taking that rest, your body comes for you. It wants that rest. So between 2 and 3, I take a little rest. 3 o'clock, I get back up. Um, if I'm publishing something, writing something, working on ideas and things like that, I carry on with that. Every once in a while, I might stumble back into the sewing studio, but it's really not my time of the day to sew. 4 o'clock, I do the first prep for dinner, like either what's gonna happen, the pre-prep. I'll start cooking 5:36, and so that dinner is on the table by like 6:30, and then we eat together. My dad likes to watch the news. I'm not a fan of that, but I'm in, and then we'll watch some other show, either some airport customs thing or old Sherlock Holmes things, and we'll sit around and talk and everything. And then I will set him up with his golf or Western movies, and I'll head upstairs. If I'm not tired, I'll do a little bit more sewing. If I am, then I'll go to bed or get ready to go to bed and read something or whatever. Now on the weekends, Sundays are no sew Sundays. I'm really trying to have a day of rest. I try not to sew on Sunday no matter what. I do all the other things, my yoga, my talking, and my friends, and I do like a Friday night sew. I do like to put on a movie or a comedy show and cut things out and sew. Now remember, I also can sew with my friends who I talk to in the morning. Um, when I'm watching a movie, I do handwork. If I have to wait in the doctor's office, I do handwork. Um, if I'm in the car and I'm not driving, I do handwork. Um, so there's really a lot of opportunity to get a lot of things done, and because I don't have any urgency about it, somehow when someone's not, you're not, you're not at stake for time as much. Somehow it's easier. I think when 40 years, there was always a bell ringing. There was always school, had to go to school, had to get kids ready, had to be there for my husband, had to make my lesson plans, had to order library book. There was always something. So I was always tucking sewing in behind my life. And this is the first time my life is sewing, being with friends and family and stuff like that. So that is the when part of when I sew. I also sew on vacation. Like when I go to visit, a lot of my friends have sewing rooms, and my daughter has a sewing room, and that's a wonderful time for us. We'll sit in her sewing room and she'll be working on something, and it's big enough that I can be working on the other side, or I can be working on something for her. And I have a few people in my life who do so. So a lot of things get done, and a lot of joy is had from it. But when I was younger and I did have other obligations, I wasn't able to do as much. So according to the demographics, I finally looked at them. A lot of people who watch my videos are in my age range. But if you're younger and you're watching this and you're lamenting the fact that you don't get to sew, you might be doing something really, really important right now other than sewing. And so don't feel bad about the time. Just do the 10, 20, 30 minutes to sew. That's what I did. I've sewed everywhere. I've sewed in the basement. I've sewed in the closet. I've sewn in the garage. I've sewn in boxes. I've sewn in dorm rooms. I've sewn everywhere because I love to sew. So that was more where, but that's when I sew. So I hope that clears up how I get it in, and how much I'm enjoying it. I hope you're having a great Sunday, and keep making.